Here we go again. More space engineers. So after the recent loss of a lifter shuttle, I have rebuilt the lifter shuttle. I am now in space, inside an asteroid, and I have cleared out the last of the uranium in this little depositor. But I figured I could demonstrate the laser drill mod, which are what these beautiful little things are on the front of the ship here. These little bulbous dealios, and it's really laggy. That's what happens when you've been mining. So we got the laser drills here. And we're just gonna turn them on, and they spin. Pretty cool. And they have a range slightly farther than their hitbox. So you'll see them engage here and start making some puffs of smoke. So you can keep your ship a little farther away. That's quite nice. We're actually going to take some of this stone back to the lifter shuttle so it can process it into ore. So we have some basic stuff. And we'll just demo another space mining technique. If I can line up on something easier in first person. So we're just going to come to a stop here. Turn our drills on. Turn our dampeners off. And give ourselves a bit of forward thrust. With these laser drills, I can actually go a little faster than normally, I don't know, able to. And drill ourselves a hole out of here. And all I'm doing is moving the camera. I'm not moving the ship. It's just cruising along, 2 meters a second, drilling a hole. And I'm pretty sure that we're completely full. But that's okay. We have broken free. Turn our drills off, turn our dampeners back on. And line up to connect to the lifter shuttle here. While we're lining up, since we have build and repairs on the lifter shuttle, I'm going to go ahead and eject some stone. The gravity generator on the lifter shuttle should pick up some of this stuff, and the build and repairs will grab the stone, or at least most of it, out of the air there. There. We are empty on stone. I don't have any inventory sorting or filtering scripts on the ship, on the lifter shuttle here. So we have to do some by hand transference. So we go to show inventory of current ship. And then over on this side, click on show connected inventories and cargo. Well, that worked out. We can just drag and drop our uranium. And we can double check. We got some stone in the ejectors and sorters. Some ice in the H2O2 gen. And we can disconnect here. And drop the rest of that stone back off. And what we need to do is design a better design. I guess I could put the landing gear on the top. Can I put the landing gear on the top? So that we don't have to keep ripping our landing gear on and off. Oh, still in creative. Oh well. I have all this stuff for a landing gear in my inventory because I ground the other one off. We'll try it this way. And we'll just, come on, we'll just roll over. So in retrospect, what I should have done with this ship and the last shuttle that crashed, I never did find the crater. And the reason I'm in creative is I deleted all the large grid stuff that I could find. But that deleted my solar panels. So I figured since I deleted them, I should be able to give them to myself. And now we can turn the ship off, but the safer way to do it is to just turn the thrusters off. That way, the dampeners on this ship are not trying to fight the thrusters on the larger ship. And landing gear for ship-to-ship connections is really safe. I've never had an issue with it, but I think our build and repairs, because we did some thruster damage to the larger ship with the little hydro minor utility ship there. But we are going to turn it off since this one only runs on batteries. So that is one way to connect ships. And probably the only way. So we have to go in the rotating door now that we are in space. We could turn the gravity generator, which is right here, this thing, off or on, doesn't matter. But we could turn the vent here off or on and then just use both doors and rely on our oxygen supply. But it's just easier. In space, use this door. In atmosphere, use that door. Easy enough. One of my better design choices. The other thing is, if this thing has no power, the sliding door builds open. The rotating door builds closed. So you can walk through the sliding door as you're building it. And you'll see we don't lose our little shuttle here. Our little hydro miner as we're moving around. There still is some uranium in there somewhere, another deposit. We just gotta double check we're not nuking our little ship with our thrusters here. Nope, good. And turn our hydrogens off for now. We built all the ions because we stripped the thruster components out of the Raven, which is over there. We could head over to the Raven and start refining some of this uranium, because the main problem with the crash of the last lifter shuttle is it took with it most of my uranium supply. I guess I could turn those Atmo thrusters off for a while, but we'll just leave them on. They're not hurting anything. So that is a long way to travel. But we have a jump drive on this ship. And we are going to get rid of this one. We're just going to hide it. You can do it here, or you can just double click it. And we need some platinum. So all these jump points I found with basically the little mining shuttle with extra hydro tanks on it. But now we have the ability to just go into our jump drive, go down to, we can remove that one, or we can just select a new one, and we're looking for our platinum one. There we go. Select, and you'll see it locked in there. You'll see the distance, and then on your hotbar here you just push your jump drive, and you can double check the distance. 37 kilometers, 37 kilometers. Yes. And for one jump drive, this is a small amount of mass to transport, so this thing can jump really far.
No fuel.
No fuel. Yes, we know. I don't know why it keeps doing that. And there's our platinum, hiding in the sun. We're going to line up next to it and give ourselves a little bit of sideways momentum there. And creep on in and see what we can find. We are using a modded detector, so we can detect from pretty far out. It's set to about, I think, 800 meters. The higher you say, ooh, there's an asteroid. So we're going to turn on our hydros and we're going to boost over top, so we don't slam into that little one down there, right in between the atmospherics in front of the cockpit. Now, I probably panicked and went too far away, but slamming this thing into an asteroid is no good. No good whatsoever. So we'll have to line up and try again. And I believe... oh, almost an atmosphere there. Or we're in planetary gravity. Just barely. So we must be pretty lined up over top of the base. At least my initial run up. This must have been one of the first ones I found if it's that close to gravity. So, trying again here. Maybe we'll start slowing down a little sooner because this thing is not super maneuverable. It is using regular ion thrusters, no large ion thrusters. So it doesn't have a ton of stopping power, going power, or maneuverability outside of the hydrogens, which you saw me use in a just terribly panicked state there. So let's line up on the platinum. Yes, no fuel. I don't know why you're doing that. We should check. We have lots of fuel, lots of uranium. So the ideal position would be somewhere in the sun so we could see. That's a bumpy sucker. But this platinum might be exposed, so we might just sit right here. Just about there. You can see our spotlights. They should probably turn our spotlights up in distance so they give us a better warning, but we're about as close as we can get, and I believe this kind of digital camo pattern looking stuff is actually platinum right there, so we're gonna back up a bit. Come on, just a little bit more. That's good. And let's use the rotating door and jetpack on and jump in our little ship. Power up, disconnect, turn the Z thrusters on, and we're backwards. So let's spin around here. Yep, that's platinum. Get stopped. And drop the camera here. Turn our drills on. Turn our dampeners off. And set some forward momentum. Maybe that was a bit too much forward momentum. Let's try again. There we go. Just drilling a nice little hole. And as soon as our ejectors start spitting out stone, like so, we want to turn our dampeners back on very quickly, because in those little holes, those big chunks of stone can really mess us up. So So for now, I'm going to turn these off. And we're bumping into the stone. Okay. So I'll just drop it. The reason for parking so close is while we're dumping stone out of our ejectors, the large ship can pick some of it up with the build repairs. So I've got to mine some more platinum for thruster components and shield stiff, but not a whole lot. And the next step is building something else. Not sure what yet. We might go back to the rovers, mess around with that stuff, or go visit the moon. Might pick up our rover with our lifter shuttle and head on over to the moon. Since the lifter shuttle it's at least full starter facilities. It has a basic refinery and a regular assembler. So just being able to get enough components and drop a regular refinery, you're pretty much good to go. But there's no wind on the moon, so that's why we are mining uranium. Once you reach the point where you have a supply of uranium, you pretty much win. You can start building more and more complex designs that do not require you to jump through the hoops that are required for like hydrogen engines and hydrogen tanks, stuff like that. Hydrogen thrusters are still really useful, especially on the moon, where you do have a decent amount of gravity. So this particular ship with 2 thrusters in each direction, you turn the rest of them off, can mine really well and have a really long flight time in a moon environment. So, what do we got for cargo? We've filled up at least our cargo container, so that's good enough. Make sure we turn our ejectors off. Always turn your ejectors off when you're docking, or you might pull stone out of whatever you're docking to. We'll swing around and try and line this up frontways. Should build this, redo this a little bit and put the connector on the top, just cause. That way if it's hovering in atmosphere doing the stratosphere launch, it's not such a big deal. Come on. Fight the camera. There we go. Locked in. Let's turn our thrusters off temporarily so we do less damage to the larger ship. And find a cargo container. Well, I guess we could do it on this side to dump the platinum in. So we got quite a bit of uranium ore. I'm going to grab some more platinum. But you can see we've ripped a wreck apart. At least some of the components. Let's go back into cargo here. So we've got all sorts of weirdness on us, but we have some basic ingots and whatnot. Some that we got out of the wreck that we took apart, like this silver, this cobalt, and some that we've been manufacturing, like the ferrite, nickel, and silver out of the stone with our basic refinery, which is still chunking away on stone. So I haven't decided whether to go over to the Raven and refine some of the stuff up here, or go back down because, you know, proper facilities and quick refiners and multiple refineries down on the ground there. But the Raven is nice. It's nice to have something up in space. Connectors disabled. Oh, thrusters disabled. Something up in space here that I can dock to or use if I don't want to go back down. And you can see some of the damage getting repaired by the build and repairs there that we did with our thrusters. So we need to tip up a little bit, slam, lock, power, power it off, good to go. A little crooked, but it's alright. And we're using this door, right? Right. So that's space mining. It's not super amazing. I should probably grab some more platinum, so I'm going to do that. And head back to the planet, refine the stuff. But yeah, lifter shuttle, number 2. Really awesome. Once it has thrusters in each direction. So what I did when I crashed the other one is I hooked up to the connector to try and refuel the little ship. But I hit power instead of turning the thrusters off, and that turned the lifter shuttle off, causing it to just plummet. So that's what we did. So we're going to leave it there. I'm going to go refine my stuff, get some more platinum, and then figure out what I'm doing next. Thanks, camera. Just jump around. So if you watch this and all of this, yay, space mining.